Welcome, sisters. We are Grin and Barrett.
I'm AC, aka Danny, and I am drinking Sprite and vodka, but I'm doing my version of the life potion. So I mix vodka and Jawbreakers. I couldn't think what
Jolly
this is
Ranchers.
Jolly Ranchers.
Jolly Ranchers. I was like, what is this? Okay, I lost it, but I thought it was great because Danny, kid, candy. Okay.
I love that. Also, it's very on brand. Just want to.
Oh, and in my new skull glasses, not plastic. I upgraded, guys. It was a gift.
I like that.
That's cool. That's really cool.
You can't really tell, but it's one of those rainbow glasses. You know, like when the light.
Oh, you can tell.
You totally
You can
tell.
Oh.
and I put berries in it, so it's not really green anymore. But there you go.
Berries and
Life potion.
cream.
Danny, why are you drinking the life potion? I'm gonna take your. What are you doing, girl?
It has candy in it.
Is it well?
That's very on par for 1993.
Hold on. Wait. Does that mean that Winifred and the Sanderson sisters could have gotten Danny if they just offered her freaking candy?
Probably.
Oh, ladies. Anyway, we really mucked that one up. I'm Knuckles, and I dress as Winifred, and I'm drinking a yuzu ramen egg, because it's the only thing that's close to green, but I'm drinking it out of a Lucifer martini glass.
At some point.
That our mutual friend gave me, because he's a great person.
I'm Iris, and I'm drinking my version of the life potion. That is a weird concoction of things I put together, but it's green.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have a piece of your tongue in it, at least, so.
I didn't say that it didn't have a piece of my tongue in it.
Alright, and I am Alice, and my life potion is Midori and Mountain Dew and a bit of edible glitter that is unfortunately not visible on camera.
Aww.
I gotta say,
It's there in spirit.
I just want to say that I love that everybody found the right type of glass or jar to put their potion in. Like I was looking, I was like, wait, and I just love that. I didn't have to tell anybody. Everybody already had bottles, potion bottles.
I'm drinking, out of our Lord, and
It's on point.
I wanted to say before we jump in, can we talk about our outfits really quick? Because I wanted to highlight my necklace. I know it's not screen accurate or anything. However, it's made of real bone. And whatever this stone is, I need to ask my friend. However, it's made by my friend Squid, and I'm totally going to pimp out her Etsy because she makes the coolest stuff. Sorry. Anyway, but yeah, I was like, let's talk about our outfits really quick.
So if none of our viewers know, we are doing Hocus Pocus. That's what we're doing tonight.
If it's not obvious.
I feel like there may be that one person who has no clue what we're doing. So I just thought I should mention.
Or the one person who's like, I watch y'all because you're my friends. I don't understand you.
Yeah. No, I did have an event going on, and the top movie. Somebody asked, "What's your favorite scary movie?" And the top movie out of 30 requests so far was Hocus Pocus. And I was like, I'm pretty sure everybody knows what Hocus Pocus is. So I'll go. I actually did my version of Danny, so it's not. I'm also moving, so it's on point for me. So I just decided to go with. I couldn't find my paint; it wasn't working, so I just took an old red T-shirt and I just duct taped. Perfect. So moons and stars, and I found a necklace. And Danny's supposed to wear a bunch of little sun, moon, stars, and I have one. Again, moving, so I can't find any of my stuff. So I bought this right when Halloween stuff came out. It's Ouija boards. like the little. So I was like, I'll wear that, and then I already had a scarf. It's not the exact scarf, but So I think I have the essence of Danny going on, but I feel like if a kid only had an hour before they were gonna go out and only had duct tape, I feel like this is the version that they would have made.
Yes.
So I'm okay with this.
I totally agree. It looks good.
And I made my own version of the black flame candle. So I'm gonna make a better one, but
you are tempting fate, Danny.
I'm drinking the life potion. I lit the candle. I'm ready.
Living dangerously. I mean, mine's just from Spirit of Halloween. I bought it after Halloween, like 2 years ago, which all they had left was like the triple XL and triple XS. So I went with the like triple XL. So this is the size of a tent. For me, like just because I'm smaller than that, so I have a chip clip holding it in the back.
But like that's so. I feel like it's on brand.
I mean, it's comfy. It's nice and stretchy. Like, I mean, it has elastic everywhere, so
it's cute. I like it.
I mean, it's well made. I mean, for Spirit Halloween, like their level of quality, it's on the top end of the quality spectrum there.
I will agree. Like when these first came out in, I think it was like 2016 or 2017, and my friends and I dressed up and went to Brews and Booze at City Park in New Orleans, and we won.
we saw you. That was
we were there.
Right. So we're all there. We were all there. We were dressed up as Peter Pan and Hook and Smee.
Oh, we probably all were like, oh my god, you look so good.
Yeah.
And then
we yelled at you because y'all brought a vacuum cleaner with you.
Yes, my friend brought, as Mary, she was like, I'm committing, and she's not a big Halloween or costume person. And she goes, hey man, win in room. And that trooper walked around the entire freaking City Park, like, Storyland with that freaking vacuum. And I told her, I was like, we won because of you, by the way. Like, that's the only reason. They were like, the judges were like, we pity you. Here's a trophy.
It's funny you guys won, and we're all like whispering to each other, like, yeah, they deserve to win.
Yeah, we're like, it's fine.
We were like, we're going for this. On an unrelated note, but same event, just a different year. I think the previous year, I dressed up as the vampire from A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. And I have the best photo of me. My friend turned around and took a picture of me because they're like, Knuckles, like, be in character. And I was like, okay. And so I was dressed as the vampire on the little, what is it, the ladybug or caterpillar or whatever. And I was just like, and it's the best photo I've ever taken.
Iris, did you want to discuss your costume?
I mean, it's the Spirit Halloween one. I like it. I added a corset because I can.
It looks so good. It looks so good. Freaking love it. You look amazing.
The only thing about Sarah's costume in the movie, it's so funny because her hair changes like every single scene.
So good.
You like watch her. They might as well have just changed where her mole is. Like they could have just gone.
Wait, Iris.
Wait, wasn't your mole on the other side?
On the other side?
I have a mole. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
I'm sorry, that's my favorite Mel Brooks movie of all time. Also came out in 1993, so it's relevant.
But I mostly the thing that I did for this costume is I tried to do her makeup like to look like Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yes.
And because I don't look like Sarah Jessica Parker. Also, like it's so funny because they like put like brown eyeshadow like right here. Yep. And I'm like, why? And I'm like looking at it and I'm like, this is weird, but let's go ahead. We'll just like put a ton of brown eyeshadow.
Yeah. And it works though, doesn't it? It looks really good. Yeah, she's got a weird, like, maybe they did that just to make them look a little bit darker and witchier, maybe? You know what I mean? It's like give them a little bit.
Well, and for 1993, she has like super bushy black eyebrows. I think it was an attempt to like make them look uglier to let them know that they were the villains.
Right.
But
then it just became iconic, and they're all very cute and hot. Like,
yeah.
Nice job, guys. Everybody loves them.
So mostly in lore, witches are usually depicted as evil. So you have the standards, which they are rightly so to be evil. I mean, their spell book has fingers on it. And then they also try to eat the souls of little children. So they're like, wake up, book. So the witches in this were they're evil. They depict they have a mock trial and they hang them. So that is actually common for America. So common methods of execution for convicted witches were hanging, drowning, and burning. Burning was off. I love how they say this line. Often favored, particularly in Europe. Favored. Like that's just like their favorite brand, you know.
I prefer my witches burned, but the Americans,
as it was considered it was a more painful way to die.
Also, having a third nipple was an indicator that you were a witch.
What about left-handedness?
You weren't allowed to be left-handed? Personal story, I used to write with both hands until 2nd grade when my teacher told me that left hand is of the devil and tied it behind my back until I wrote with exclusively my right hand.
Child abuse? I know I'm Winifred Sanderson. Child abuse?
Yeah, she also yelled at me for putting together a foam puzzle of the world and like taking all the water out and putting the land together. I didn't realize at the time because I didn't know about it. I'd made Pangea and it ticked her off.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Because I noticed that South America and Africa fit together, and I didn't know how the puzzle was supposed to go together. So I was like, okay, they fit. And she's like, no, they don't. I'm like, but they do. No, they don't. But they do.
That's amazing.
And then she yelled at me, the world never looked like that. I'm like, I'm not saying it did. Like, why are you yelling at me? I'm a child.
So if you don't know the plot of Hocus Pocus, it is about 3 kids who decide that they're going to go to the local legend house of the witches in town. And one of them is from, 2 of the kids are from California, so he doesn't know the local legend. And he decides he's going to light the black flame candle, which ensues a whole bunch of shenanigans. Also, why? So the whole thing, and one thing that annoys me now about this movie, it didn't annoy me then, was the whole thing about the black flame candle. To light it, in order for the curse to happen, you had to be a virgin. So in the movie, they're making, they pretty much like make fun of Max the whole time and like make him feel bad because he's still a virgin. He's like 15. What does it matter? You know? And then then they make it a big deal when when he asks Allison if she wants to light it, she's like, no, I don't care. But they say they're making it seem like, oh, well, she's not a virgin. I'm like, how do you know she's not a virgin? She could just be like, dude, I don't want to light the black flame candle because I believe in the legends.
There's a term for all the guys and basically everyone making fun of Max for being a virgin. It's called the patriarchy. There's literally no reason to make fun of him.
I mean, I was kind of on the same par as Danny. Like, I had no idea what the term meant. I just knew that he was one.
So I didn't think that held up very well 30 years later. But
they would never put that in a children's movie nowadays.
No.
Also, the fact that they killed a child in the first 3 minutes of a movie, because boyfriend actually mentioned this when we watched it a couple weeks ago, and he's like, wait, she's dead. Like, how did this get away in like a Disney movie? Like, how? And then at the movie, he's like, oh, I understand now. She comes back as a ghost. It's okay.
Yeah. So kind of continuing on the history avenue, I found a really fun article called, it's on The Lazy Historian, and it's from 2018, and it's called Alewives, Brewsters, and the Birth of the Witch. And I'm gonna skip the first part and then start here. So brewing beer had traditionally been a woman's job dating back at least 6,000 years ago. Men started becoming involved in the process a bit more around the time of the Roman Empire, but it generally continued being women's work wherever beer was being brewed. It was even a German nun, Hildegard of Bingen, who first recorded the use of hops in brewing, is unofficially considered the patron saint of beer. And this is a really cool picture. It's a Western European alewife circa 1300. So it says, in Western Europe, beer brewing and consumption was originally reserved for at-home activities. However, once women moved outside of the home and started making a healthy income from selling beer, men were not happy and decided to end it. Because, of course, they did.
How dare you make money, woman?
I know, like independence, what? During the 1500s and 1600s, women were gradually forced out of the business. In a political move that is still used today, men painted the ambitious women as incapable of doing the job and created a propaganda campaign against them, one that has lasted for hundreds of years. They were painted as scary, nasty, and untrustworthy women. This is a picture of Mother Louise, an alewife in 1600s Oxford. What does she look like, guys? A freaking witch! Okay. An independent woman was a dangerous woman. To stand out in a crowd on market day, these women wore tall, pointed black hats. It was a clever old-timey marketing ploy. There, they stood at their cauldrons and sold their goods. While in their shops, Brewsters signaled their shop as open by hanging a broomstick outside above the door. In addition, cats were regularly employed by Brewsters and alewives to keep rodents out of the storehouses. Sound familiar? This propaganda campaign against brewers even turned customers away by persuading the locals, particularly men, that these women were using charms or spells to trick people into buying their beer and drinking too much. Ye old, she made me do it because she was so charming line, my favorite. It's no coincidence that the term beer witch entered into use around this time. When witchcraft trials became the fun and hip afternoon event across Europe, traits were borrowed from the alewives and used to make other innocent women appear guilty of casting evil spells on their neighbors. Although women are slowly getting back into the brewing industry, it's mostly still a boys' club. According to two separate studies related to beer and gender, a quarter of the craft beer drinkers are women, and less than a third of people working in the beer industry are women. And that was a really cool, that was written by Gillian Hamilton on The Lazy Historian. So I thought that was a really cool, like it kind of encompasses all of the traditionally, like the stereotypical witch qualities and appearances, and it like kind of boils it down. So when I read that, I looked it up, and then like there was another article from that was older than that one that was like, no, alewives weren't witch, and I just assumed it was written by a man. They're like, no, actually the alewives are not, and I'm like, dude, just shut up. Anyway, so that I thought that was very interesting.
Another fun bit of trauma. I was accused of witchcraft in my church. Like, legitimately.
Oh my, okay. Oh my Lucifer. No, I'm just kidding. But no, for real, what?
Yeah, I was accused of, me and someone else were accused of using witchcraft to ensnare a man.
What?
I'm
What?
not even joking.
How old were you?
15?
I don't understand.
I had to actually refute the charges of witchcraft in my church.
How?
What? I haven't heard this story.
I mean, I just said I wasn't a witch. Like, I mean, it wasn't like a trial or anything, but someone in the church accused me of witchcraft, and I had to say, I'm not a witch.
What? So did you ever find out who accused you?
Yeah.
Girl.
The South is wild, man.
Yeah.
What's their name? Actually, don't say it on here. But
Yeah.
like, tell me later.
I'll tell
so
y'all
I can go-
privately. I'm not going to tell it on here.
No, but like, I'm gonna go Facebook stalk them and maybe catfish them. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where my mood takes me. When I'm dressed like this, I'm capable of great evil.
But yeah, it's not just something reserved for history. It still happens. Just hopefully no burnings.
I mean,
I was fine, but
thank goodness. Because like, if you lived like 300 years earlier, maybe not good.
yeah.
We are in, I mean, the South is known for its lynching, so I mean,
Yeah.
that could still be. So
That's true. Still a real
Shit
threat.
still happens.
The South is wild, man. I didn't grow up in the South, So, and all I had of being in the South was living in New Orleans, which I don't know how great of a taste of living in the South that
They're
is.
a lot more liberal than where I grew up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little town.
Yeah.
It has more. It's like spicy racism.
My first memory of being in New Orleans, I wore vampire fangs and I had a princess like Sailor Moon wand, and I remember just walking down the sidewalk wearing these things and no one batted an eye. I'm like, this is amazing.
No one cares.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, cool, where are you off to? I want to know, like, what's going on so I can join.
Nobody told me off. I was just like, no one cares. No one cares. I have learned through the ages that whenever I'm going somewhere, the most weirdly dressed people are generally my people. So I aim for whatever crowd looks the most exotically dressed.
Yeah, like, just out of the ordinary.
Well, also, I was in marching bands. I'm like, weird uniforms. There we are.
You know, and not to turn this into like a tourism commercial for New Orleans, but like we have a lot of cemeteries here that you can literally just walk into. So just FYI, if you're looking to do a photo shoot with your Beetlejuice costume or Buffy costume, just come to New Orleans. Like do a little trip and then go to any one of the many, like it just like
You do need to research that because some are not always open. The ones like in the quarter, those you have to go with a tour guide. But the ones like City
the one on Canal Street, the big one on Canal Street by you know where I'm talking about, Sacred Grinds. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's open all the time.
Yeah, that one's open all the time. But there's some that are not because people were destroying stuff, so they made it where you had to go with. Yeah, Alice.
Just a question: are they open after dark?
No.
Okay.
Not usually.
No, but you shouldn't sneak in.
And
I've never snuck into a graveyard before.
Here parks and cemeteries are closed after sunset, so that's why I was curious.
They're closed.
The parks
they're
open.
closed.
I almost got arrested for being in a park after dark, so.
Yeah.
Park after dark.
Weird. Parks here close at 9 usually.
What is happening where you live?
So obviously, I know I talked about having a problem with the whole thing about how they were negative about being a virgin, but I still love this movie. I was just saying that made the movie a little dated, but everything else, I love the movie. I love the fact that, okay, so I'm going to show off my birthday gifts because this is one of, I was treating it like a teddy bear yesterday because I got it in the mail and it came from Iris. So check it. She had this commissioned for me. And look, I never knew that the freaking book had fingers on it. Like, they did a very nice job. Here's the back of the book.
God, that looks so cool.
They didn't do the buckle, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And then it opens, and then she gave me stickers. So I have stickers and bats in here, which is like I have Buffy stickers and bats. Let's go with that. So
Perfect.
But I love it. It's great. So this is one of my favorite things out of the movie. Like, so what do you guys like besides that and the candle? Which I do not know why Disney does not make this for us. What are y'all's favorites? I already said I like the candle. I like the book. Like, I'm assuming we have favorite lines. I will say mine is, I'm stealing it. It's Winifred. And it's like, I always wanted a child on toast.
I love that.
On toast. I can't get her high, like, octave with it.
It's Bette Midler.
Winifred has the best lines in the whole movie.
And she's very violent. I love it. I know we're not supposed to be violent toward each other, but I love the fact that she's always punching Sarah. So I just...
Sarah kind of deserves it. She's kind of annoying. Let's be honest.
Love Sarah.
She's delightful, but she's just like over here like...
She's not on task. She's like, I'm here probably for one night. I'm going to get laid.
She's sneaky. Like, when they're baking the potion, she puts an extra chunk of her tongue in there.
Yeah, she
does.
And so she ends up being the youngest once they de-age.
Yeah, I do like that theory. And also, I do like the fact that she does know the whole potion ingredients, and they don't listen to her.
And they just ignore her. Like, all right, dude. And she's kind of like, whatevs. I'm going to get, she's like, I'm going to find me a boy. Whatever. Like,
yeah, she goes back to play with the boys in the cave. She's like, whatever.
And also, the other thing, Sarah appreciation video now, because she's the one who's like, hey, Winnie, but we have children here. We can feed the potion.
Like, why don't we kill these and we we can get
more
Danny
coming.
later.
And Winnie's like, in typical villain fashion, is like, no, I'm going to get my vengeance. And you're like, all right, that's going to be your undoing, you silly witch.
Oh no! It's so funny because the Sanderson sisters should have won 10,000 times in that movie. Because I watched it in preparation for. I haven't watched it because it's Halloween, but I watched it in preparation for this, like with more of a like critical eye.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, the Sanderson sisters should have won here, 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 here. Like our heroes of the story are not very competent. At the end where they go save
have to be
Danny
by children, so
yeah, at the end when they go save Danny, like they're on their way to like just hopefully live. Like they are running away, like in hopes that they will like get away from the sisters and live. Like they are not preparing to beat the sisters at all. Yeah. So
they could have literally just stayed in the cottage.
If they had just stayed in the cottage and gotten like life from a couple of those kids, they would have been fine. They could have went and killed Danny later, and it would have been great.
And why couldn't have Sarah stay behind and Mary? They could have made their own potion.
They're followers.
Yeah,
they're followers.
But also, like they're probably followers, but they've been beaten into submission by Winifred too. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So like
you don't say no to Winifred. You just like okay.
Yeah, which makes me really sad because I'm
cross her, you end up like Billy.
Yep.
And think about poor Mary. Winifred's getting all hyped up, angry, and Mary goes, "Let's form a calming circle."
I am calm.
Thou art not being honest with thyself.
Are we?
Come on. Also, can we talk about the the super dirty jokes, like building on that virgin thing, like
the bus driver.
And like I didn't get that, and then as an adult, when I watched it again, to get into it again, I was like, did he just say that? Yeah. Oh my god! Like,
it's so funny. I can see why our parents were like, let's keep watching this movie because it's like actually a really good movie.
They're like, this is really funny, you guys, and then we're like, yay, Halloween!
So I know we talked about the sisters' costumes and then Danny's costume, but okay, so yeah, my hat moved. Sorry. So I love when we go to meet the parents in the what gym, town hall, wherever the place is. I love the mom because it was like, mom, who are you? And she's like,
Madonna.
Right. And I love that it's still kind of like that. I feel like people would still get that,
Oh yeah, it's so funny because she's like Madonna, obviously.
I mean,
right?
I think we need a little appreciation for the dad joke. I'm Dad Kula.
Yeah.
That's
so
my favorite part of the movie is the song scene because I love that skeleton band too.
I was about to say that. So that's another thing that Disney dropped. Why don't they do like a soundtrack with that song and Sarah's song? I know we talked about this off screen, but I don't remember who brought it up, but I agree. Whoever this idea was, it was not originally my idea, but I agree with it. We need that.
Can we talk about how the Sanderson sisters really, after being dead and for 300 years, and they adapted so well and so fast to modern life that they walked in that thing, saw that this is like an event, aren't freaked out about all the lights and everything, and they were like, "Oh, Max, thank you for that introduction. Let me walk up on stage and sing a song that we apparently have memorized."
And understands the microphone and gets the band to play along. And later on when they're chasing him, "Hey, pull over. Let me see your driver's permit."
Yeah. It's like the genie in Aladdin. The genie's talking about modern popular culture, and Aladdin's like, I'm in the Middle East from the freaking whatever century. Like, what are you talking about?
There's a whole conspiracy theory around that the genie is actually it's set in the future and he's remembering things from the past. Like there was an apocalypse that reset the world's technology, and so he's referencing stuff from the past.
That's
like,
cool.
In one of the video games, they have stuff from like modern day mixed into the sand.
I don't know if this, I never looked this up, but I think the reason why they have this scene in there with her flying on the broom and say, pull over, because it's an iconic scene from Killer Clowns in Space with the clown riding on a mime bicycle and telling, have you ever watched that stupid?
Yeah.
It's not a stupid movie, but it's like a classic,
it's a B horror movie, yeah.
So the clown and the whole basis of that movie was for that scene because somebody just had a dream about how, hey, it'd be really creepy if a clown showed up and tried to pull you over and wasn't, I think he's not even on a bike. Like he's driving like a fake, like a mime bike. And then he tells you to pull over. So I think that's where I don't know if it's true, but that scene always reminded me of the Killer Clowns car scene because the Killer Clowns came first.
That's one of the many moments in this movie where you're like, okay, they were afraid of like the sprinklers and the concrete, but they know what a driver's permit is and how to. My theory on the concert scene, I don't know what to call it a concert scene, but we're gonna call it that. The town hall scene, the party scene. I think Winifred is just really quick on her feet, and because the band starts kind of playing, and then she just goes with it, and then Sarah and Mary, because she's casting a spell, so she's like, oh. I'll just cast a modern spell, and she starts singing, and it's like, all right, dope. That's really smart.
I mean, there's a lot of scenes there's a lot of smart parts that we don't see, like when they're hanging out at their master's house, like Mary's watching TV. So if they're quick on the uptake, they could have absorbed all of that information during the night.
Very easily.
No, I think the witches are very, very smart and they are very adaptive. So that another reason why they should have won. Like, obviously, they should have won many times, if not for their own hubris, mostly.
The kitchen is a like that.
Yeah.
Now,
a torture chamber.
Does anybody remember? Okay, so the commercial that Mary's playing with, where she keeps rewinding at the TV, and the commercial that's playing is, remember the baby commercial? Like that was like a big deal. And I bet you know, like kids nowadays watch this. Like, why is this commercial here? Because it was a big deal in the 90s.
I remember that commercial too, and I love Mary's reaction where she's just like, "What?" Like it's so funny.
As I was watching it, I was realizing that Sarah has like 5 lines.
Yeah, she's very quiet. Like
she's in the background.
She's making noises and saying things, but it's usually repetitive and stuff. I freaking love Sarah. I did the same thing, Iris. I did the same thing, Iris, when I dressed up as Sarah with my friends to go to that thing, and I just ran around just basically being like, I smell boys, and actually because I was newly single at the time, 1 month single at the time. And I was like, that, and that's what I told my friends. And my friend who dressed up as Winifred just nailed it. She had the voice down. She was just so funny. And we followed her, and it was her and then Mary. And then I just skipped behind them the whole time and was just we have this another really good picture of us that someone took. I was it's a bystander took for us. And I was like, hey, can you take this picture? And they're both doing this, because it's like, hello, they are doing this, and my doofus butt goes like this, and I was like, no, that's in character. She would do that because she's not all there. She would do it wrong. So everything that I was messing up, I was like, no, this is fine. I was listening to Buffering the Vampire Slayer podcast, and they had an episode about Hush. And they had 2 episodes about Hush, and they actually interviewed Doug Jones, who plays Billy in he plays everything. He's the lead gentleman in Hush. Anyway, they asked him one question about Hocus Pocus. They're like, okay, I was allowed to ask one question about my favorite movie, and she was like, so I heard that the moths in your mouth were real. Is that true? And he goes, not only is that true, there was a moth handler on set. He's like, Yeah, he's like, so they put a dental dam in my mouth, filled it with like, edible dust basically, and then put the moths in. And so when it was time, he goes, but on the first take, a light burnt out and they yelled cut. And he's like, I could feel the saliva in the back of my mouth just rising because it was, to combat something foreign in my mouth. So I had to tell them, I had to be like, so they got him out. He's like, because again, the makeup sewed me up. So I had to, so basically he's like, the moth handler got in, got the moths. All of them were unscathed. Everything was fine. They reset. And he said, we took one take. And I think he did it in one take, if I remember correctly.
He's like, because I never want to do this again.
Yeah,
this is
like,
a one-time.
I hate this. But
this is a two-time thing.
He's like, they were in my mouth once, and then he didn't do it. Now we're getting the take, and that's it. But yeah, they were real moths and like dust and stuff in his mouth, and he went, oh, isn't that cool? Oh my gosh.
Blah.
I know,
No, thank
super
you.
gross, but also like so cool. Really quick, funny story. When I was first starting to date again, there was this really nice guy that I was seeing, and he was like, oh yeah, I've never seen Hocus Pocus. And we were like the same age, and I was like, how did you miss that? Okay, let's watch it together. So we did, because it was right around Halloween. I was like, oh, let's watch it. And at the end, I was like, the whole time I was just like, what a good job, right? Oh, it's so good. And he was just kind of like, mm-hmm. And at the end, I was like, so what did you think? And he's like, oh, that was cute. No notes, no comments. And I was like, obviously that didn't last. It was for a different reason, but like, I'm like, it's freaking Hocus. Okay, all right, whatever, dude. Like, what do you watch during Halloween time, weirdo? Sorry.
Yeah.
It's very off-putting for me.
I've never met a person that like has watched Hocus Pocus that hasn't been like, wow, that was really cute.
And like been really like, wow, like but I get it. If you didn't grow up with it, okay, fair enough.
I don't get it.
Me neither.
It's just a good movie.
It was the same age as me. Like, it's like, what? Like, there's no way you avoided it this whole time. It definitely was in the cultural lexicon for all of our lives. Well, since we were 8, but still.
I mean, there's also like
Sociopath. I'm just kidding.
with people on the lower end of the financial spectrum. There's a cult classic lexicon, as you put it, for like the movies that came on TV all the time. Because that's all we had. Like, I only had 5 channels growing up, so like whatever came on TV is what I saw. Because like I would have friends who'd be like, "Oh, did you watch this Nickelodeon cartoon?" No, I don't know what you're talking about. Didn't come on my channels. So like, what is this? The Christmas movie where the guy gets to see his life without him.
You mean It's a Wonderful Life?
Yeah,
It's a Wonderful.
that was a commercial flop at first, but then a channel got the rights for it and started airing it every Christmas, and so it became a tradition.
Oh, like a Christmas Story is just every single year. Oh.
Yeah, like A Christmas Story. Yeah.
I like Elf.
I like Elf.
I like Elf.
There's a few movies from the 90s that I actually only know the like made for TV versions. Like I've had a couple where I've seen them on DVD and it's like, where'd that scene come from?
That's so funny. Wow, I didn't think about that. Yeah, well, just a side note, that's definitely not the case in this particular person, because he's definitely from outside of Boulder, Colorado, and is from not a wealthy family, but like, definitely grew up with means. But I know exactly what you mean and totally agree. And that's also really, really interesting, because it's like a completely different cultural lexicon, right?
Dude, okay, rewatching Hocus Pocus, quick aside. Why did they make Max's life so horrible? Like, he goes to a new town from across the whole country. His parents don't give a crap about what he's going through. He literally walks in the house shoeless, and they're like, must be a phase or whatever, some form of protest, instead of just asking him, why don't you have shoes?
Which presumably they bought those shoes, so why aren't they like, where are the shoes I bought you? Where are you
right.
Like, they're not mad at all. They're just like, oh, okay.
Well, and they don't even ask him about it. They're just like, oh, whatever. Figure it out, Max. And then he goes to school. He's actually pretty charismatic, although he, poor Allison during class. Like, I would be, so not ever wanting to talk to the guy who did that to me.
to ask for her.
Yeah.
It was bold, and he did apologize about it later. He was like, I was pretty much just doing that to look cool in front of everybody. Sorry, like. If you don't like want to talk to me, it's fine. Like, I'm actually interested though.
I totally would have dated Max, man. Like, are you kidding me? He lives in the coolest house ever. But and also they kind of showed in a few shots, but I visited it when in 2019 when I visited my friend in Boston, and I went to the house, and it's literally right next to water. Right next to it.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's on Ocean Avenue.
Well, when they go up to Allison's house and they're like, "Oh, rich people," I'm like, "Yeah, you guys don't have a rich people house."
And I also visited there, and it's gorgeous in real life, but it's like a historical site or something. It's totally not a person's house. That whole town is so cool, you guys. Max also, like, he's got really cool style. He's got the cute little 90s hair. He's kind of like a catch for the time. You know what I mean? Like, if I was his age, if we were
he's
like
super nice, and he and Allison, like, Allison falls asleep out of their house, and he's like super nice about it. He doesn't like do any sort of like try to get with her or anything. He just like gives her a nice kiss, like.
And they don't imply anything either, which is very cool. Like, they don't imply that he's like gonna see her or touch her or anything. Nope, he's just like, and also she feels safe enough to fall asleep in his arms. Like, yeah. I don't think Max gets enough love, you guys.
I don't think so either. He's kind of awesome. And he's like definitely very moody about taking his sister trick-or-treating, which like he totally has a right to. He had his shoes stolen from him, and he he was having a horrible day. But finally he like gets okay with it. Like, his sister gets upset, and he's like, it's okay. We're going to be fine. This is fine. I love you. This is good. Like, he's like a super nice brother too. Like, he's kind of great, but also isn't flawless. He's not a Mary Sue. Like, he's great.
Yeah.
Like, he's Max.
I will say that he's not the hottest boy, though. The hottest boy is Binks as a cat. Like, and Billy, let's be real. Billy is really hot too.
Danny's character, I do feel like it's just being a little sister. And I do think she has that on point, like where she embarrasses him the whole time. Which, as being a little, sister, I have done that. I have done the exact same stuff. Like saying something inappropriate, like, "Oh, I don't have your wabos," or whatever. I said that wrong. But
no, yabos. He goes, "Max loves your yabos." I was like, I got secondhand embarrassment for that because I'm like,
and I've said stuff like that as well. Like, I didn't say it like that, but I think I would always bring up where do babies come from when I was a kid to my sisters and brother, like, friends, because I was just like, you're the annoying little sister. You want to talk to people, but you don't know what to say, so you're like, oh, this makes everybody uncomfortable. I'm gonna say this.
Yeah,
and I will say they had each other's backs more so. Like with Thackeray and Emily. It was just Thackeray trying to save Emily. Like, she could have just been a doll for all she did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she was just sitting there.
She was just kind of sitting there.
Well, she was under a spell, so under spell.
But whenever the witches go after Max, she goes, "Get away from my brother!" Whack.
So since we talked about those two characters, what about Allison? Anything like anything we want to talk about her? Like, I did like the fact that she does kind of put Max in his place. Yeah, Iris.
So they treat her like she's the hot girl, but she's actually the weird girl.
Yeah.
They're like, she's hot, but like
to the Sanderson sisters lore, like even just having her mom work at the place, like.
Yeah.
Wait, Iris? No, Iris. Okay, real quick theory. I think she's always been the weird girl, and then she hit puberty, and now she's the hot weird girl.
Yeah, then everybody's like, fat chance, because she's not going to date anyone because she's too weird to talk to anyone.
It's like, and rich. And like, her family's rich too, so it's probably like a weird class thing too, where people are like, we don't talk to Allison because she's like
yeah. I kind of bet nobody even attempts to get with her because she's like got that weird intimidation factor. She's rich. She's super pretty. So I bet she just sits there and like has like 3 friends that she knows and is actually a super nice person because Allison seems fine. But I bet everybody's just too intimidated by her weirdness that she just is like.
Okay. So I have to say this. I don't know because she only wears this outfit once. So she's wearing this because I've looked at it because I've been like, could I cosplay that? So in the beginning of the movie, she's wearing this purple like dress. I don't know if it's like a top and then she has like leggings or whatever because I don't think leggings was popular then. But she's wearing this purple dress and then she has this red hoodie, but the hoodie has fringe on it. And it's a hoodie jacket. It's supposed to be like Little Red Riding Hood, but it has fringe on it. And I'm like, how do you make like it's not like a leather jacket, it's not a suede jacket, it's hoodie material, and it still looks cool. But I was just like, who comes up with that? I'm sorry, I had.
She probably made it herself because she's weird, like in a good way.
Yeah, she's like, oh, does Allison make her own weird clothes? Of course she does.
Yes, she does.
Cute jacket. You can see the whole jacket when she's walking away from after she gives him back the phone number. Yeah. And she does the hood thing because she's trying to be like cool and badass. And she walks away. You see the whole jacket because I've checked because I was like, because that's the best shot of that outfit. Because I'm like, do I have? Because you look for stuff in your closet. Do I have that? Can I get away? Is that in my closet already? And I don't have to go buy an outfit.
Yeah.
Allison is us all as high schoolers.
Yeah,
a little bit intimidating, cool. Very hot. That was me. Little intimidating, pretty cute. Didn't want to talk to you because I'm an introvert. No, thank you.
And then the rest of the night, she wears a sweater. Like I would have totally been that, like jeans and a sweater, like a mom sweater. I was like, that would have been what I would have worn. I wore that in high school. It was cute. I wore that in high school. It's like, yes, I think you're on it. I do think she's the weird hot chick. I do agree with that.
Yeah, nobody wants to be friends with her because she's a little intimidating, but she's actually super nice and will help you with your homework.
And like, question for y'all: can you think of another character in like pop culture that's like her? Because she's uniquely qualified to help Danny and Max in that moment because she knows like make a salt circle and like, but she's so cool. Like she's cool. She doesn't have to like go through any kind of just is, and it's really nice. I know she's a side character, but like her presence is very nice to me.
I've been on a One Tree Hill kick, and Haley would be the best definition of somebody like Allison. If you ever watched it,
I appreciate they didn't even really over sexualize her. They didn't sexualize her at all, other than Max like wanting to cuddle with her a little bit, but that was like Max doing it. It wasn't the movie doing it. Yeah. So I appreciate that. I mean, like, even her Halloween costume, like when she was at the fancy party, was not very sexual. It's just a big old fluffy dress.
Yeah. That's
which
true.
Was fantastic, by the way. But
maybe it has, okay, real quick also, that I feel like we probably should point out, because we are the Grin and Bear It podcast, this movie is predominantly stars women and girls. Mm-hmm. And like, think back to that time. Was there anything else like it? And now think back to now. Besides Steven Universe, maybe, is there anything like it? I guess movie-wise, but like movie-wise, unless it's billed as a girl movie, like, oh, this is a girl power movie. Oh, you know what I mean? Other than that movie, like, that's the other thing I love about Hocus Pocus. It's like its own freaking thing. It's its own thing. It's not like billed as a spooky, it's not like, oh, this is about witches and it's like, all women, like the marketing was just, it's a freaking witch movie.
Yeah. It's got great characters. It's well written. It has a really fun story. It's funny. For like the low budget that it had, no, not even for the low budget it had. It has like really good effects, honestly, especially for 1993. Like, it's a great movie. Yeah. I would recommend it to anyone. You want a Halloween movie? Go watch Hocus Pocus. That's probably one of the better ones.
Yeah.
That everybody will enjoy, no matter what age.
So since we pretty much have talked about everybody, there's two characters we have not talked about at all, and I feel like we have to. So Ice and that other dude in this, who hangs out in a cemetery trying to bump smokes? Like, they look like they're 25 in high school. They probably were. But I was like, my bullies didn't do that. Like, I mean, like, they bothered me at school. They didn't, like, wait to, like, skulk in a cemetery. So I just was like, I just feel like, and I'm glad that they end the movie with them in cages. I feel like I'm like, I don't feel bad for them, but I just wanted to get your opinion on this because we should feel bad.
Why were the villains so lovable? Like, they were like actually really cute. I was like, I kind of like them though. They stole Max's shoes, but I kind of like them. Go look them up.
They redid it I think a year ago or something. They went on some talk show. They redid it. I think Jimmy whatever did the thing where they had them all three redo that scene as like 30-year-olds or like however they are now, probably. So find it, but it's very entertaining.
Yeah,
but yeah,
cool
sorry.
I like that they ended up in cages though, because like they took Max's shoes. They said very offensive things about women, and they were punished for it.
Mm-hmm. We're
like
sorry,
they didn't die. They were
just ugly. Yeah, we think you're really cute.
I love it. We think you're really cute, and it's like, and they're just like, yeah, y'all.
I'm
like,
gonna puke.
And also this movie, if I'm not mistaken, passes the Bechdel test, doesn't it?
Got to.
Yeah,
absolutely. It has
there's so many like women and women presenting characters, like that are talking.
They aren't talking about men, like at all, really.
Yeah,
hardly at all.
Actually, yeah, you're right. Like, and they don't really talk to men either the entire time because there's no men to talk to. That's also something. The bus driver and the skeleton, the band guy,
and the house, the guy that's Satan.
The Satan.
Oh, he's great.
Master. And Kenny Marshall, that's brother and sister who did that scene.
My favorite part of the master scene is when Mary was like, Winnie, she's Medusa. Do you see the snakes in her hair?
I love that. That's so good. Wait. Okay, I think my favorite line, one of my favorite lines in the entire movie is when he says, I need to check with the little lady. And then Winifred goes, he has a little woman. Like, he has a little woman. Like,
oh, I love when they get up in the morning. Oh, what a glorious morning. It makes me sick.
I have that on a t-shirt. The guy at the restaurant talking to the lobsters. Okay, who's ready for the jacuzzi?
That's right. That's right. Like all of the background stuff is very entertaining too. Like little things like that.
I mean, like Sarah walking in when they come back from coming back alive. She just like the first thing she does, she's like, "Look, my lucky rat tail, it's right where I left it."
And you're like, "I love you, Sarah. I don't what." Like you're so adorable.
I do like how they took a fairy tale story, like Hansel and Gretel, and Allison's like, "Oh, let's burn them in an oven."
Oh, that's my favorite part when they're coming out of the oven, and she's just like, "I want my book. Je voudrais un livre."
That's such a great scene.
Did you already?
Well, you get why she does that, right? Because they lured her in with the tape of how to learn French. Right. And so while they're burning, she's learning the French.
French. Yeah, I got it. Did you already mention about, you said you had an anecdote about that scene when they come out, or when the kids...
Oh, yeah. So when they're dancing around and doing cartwheels in front of the school where they've burned the witches, there's a water fountain, like a outdoor fountain feature in the background. Which is the fountain that's in the opening sequence for Friends. Which technically Hocus Pocus came first, so it's not the fountain from Friends in Hocus Pocus, it's the Hocus Pocus fountain in Friends. But it's the same fountain because it's on like the back lot where they filmed.
So can we say that we did the thing?
We did the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so we officially did the thing.
It's been thinged.
Okay, so we made this uncomfortable world in Hocus Pocus a little bit more comfortable. There we go.
So, like if you did, share if you think you should, and subscribe if you want to live. Thank you. Bye.
I was like, I'm trying to do my Winnie face.